Have you ever stopped to wonder why two people can experience the exact same situation, yet walk away with completely different lives? One person sees opportunity where the other sees obstacles. One turns failure into success, while the other allows failure to become the end of the story. It almost seems as if they are living in two different worlds. But here's the surprising truth. They are. Not because the world around them is different, but because the world inside their minds is different. The greatest secret ever discovered is this: your life is not created by your circumstances. It is created by your thoughts. Every choice you make, every emotion you experience, every opportunity you recognize, and every future you build begins with a single thought. Today, you're about to begin a journey that will completely change the way you see yourself and the world around you. This journey is called the mind that creates reality. Stay with me until the very end, because once you understand the hidden power of your own mind, you'll never look at your life the same way again. Most people believe reality is something that simply happens to them. They wake up each morning believing their happiness depends on their job, their bank account, other people's opinions, or the circumstances surrounding them. They spend years trying to change everything outside themselves, while completely ignoring the one thing that controls it all, their own mind. They hope that one day success will arrive, confidence will magically appear, and happiness will somehow find them. But life doesn't work that way. The outer world is nothing more than a reflection of the inner world. Every result you experience today was first created by a belief you accepted yesterday. Every achievement began as an idea. Every failure began as a thought that was allowed to grow unchecked. Whether you realize it or not, your mind has been quietly shaping your reality every single day. Imagine your mind as a powerful garden. Every thought you entertain is a seed. Positive thoughts grow into confidence, courage, creativity, and opportunity. Negative thoughts grow into fear, doubt, anxiety, and limitation. The garden doesn't decide which seeds deserve to grow. It simply nourishes whatever you plant most often. If you spend years feeding your mind with thoughts like, "I'm not good enough," "Success isn't for people like me," or "I'll probably fail anyway," those thoughts eventually become your reality. They influence your decisions, your habits, and your expectations until they shape your entire life. But the beautiful truth is that the same mind capable of creating limitation is also capable of creating unlimited possibility. The moment you choose different thoughts, you begin creating a different future. The greatest achievers in history understood something that most people never discover. They realized that reality is first created in the imagination before it ever appears in the physical world. Every invention, every masterpiece, every successful business, every extraordinary achievement existed first as an invisible picture inside someone's mind. Long before the world believed in their vision, they believed in it themselves. They refused to let temporary circumstances define permanent possibilities. While others focused on what existed, they focused on what could exist. That single difference changed everything. The book teaches that your subconscious mind is constantly listening. It doesn't judge whether your thoughts are helpful or harmful. It simply accepts whatever you repeatedly tell it as truth. If you constantly complain, worry, and expect disappointment, your subconscious begins searching for evidence to support those beliefs. But if you consistently focus on growth, gratitude, confidence, and purpose, your subconscious starts guiding your attention toward opportunities that were always there, but previously invisible. It is as though the world hasn't changed at all. Only your ability to recognize what's possible has changed. Most people underestimate the incredible power of a single decision. Every life-changing transformation begins with one moment, when someone decides they will no longer accept the story they've been living. They decide that fear will no longer control them. They decide that failure will become a teacher instead of an enemy. They decide that their past will no longer determine their future. In that single moment, reality begins to shift, not because the outside world immediately changes, but because the person facing that world has changed. And once your thinking changes, your actions inevitably follow. The mind is the most powerful creative force you will ever possess. It can imprison you inside invisible walls built from doubt, or it can unlock doors you never knew existed. Every day with every thought, you are quietly writing the next chapter of your life. The only question is whether you're writing it consciously or allowing old beliefs to write it for you. Today marks the beginning of a different story. A story where your thoughts become your greatest allies, your mind becomes your greatest asset, and your reality begins to reflect the limitless potential that has been within you all along. The first step toward creating a new reality is accepting complete responsibility for your current one. At first, this idea may feel uncomfortable because it's much easier to blame circumstances, bad luck, difficult people, or the past. But the mind that creates reality teaches that responsibility is not about blame. It is about power. The moment you stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and start asking, "What can I do to change it?" you take back control of your life. Victims wait for life to improve. Creators improve themselves until life has no choice but to respond. Every successful person reaches a moment when they realize that no one is coming to rescue them. No miracle is going to suddenly transform their future. The responsibility belongs to them, and strangely enough, that realization is not frightening. It is incredibly freeing, because if you have the power to create your problems through your thinking, then you also have the power to create your solutions. One of the most dangerous habits the human mind develops is living on autopilot. We wake up with the same thoughts, repeat the same routines, react with the same emotions, and expect different results. Days become weeks. Weeks become years. And before long, we realize we've been living the same year over and over instead of creating a new life. The author explains that your subconscious mind loves familiarity. It doesn't care whether your habits make you successful or miserable. It only wants to repeat what feels familiar. That's why lasting change feels uncomfortable at first. Your mind mistakes growth for danger because growth requires entering unfamiliar territory. But every breakthrough you've ever dreamed of exists outside the boundaries of what feels comfortable today. Think about the way water shapes a mountain. It doesn't happen in a single moment. It happens drop by drop, day after day, year after year. Eventually, what once seemed impossible becomes inevitable. Your thoughts work exactly the same way. One positive thought won't transform your life overnight, just as one negative thought won't destroy it. But repeated thoughts become beliefs. Beliefs become habits. Habits become actions. And actions become your destiny. This is why guarding your thoughts is one of the most important responsibilities you'll ever have. Every conversation you have with yourself is quietly building the person you'll become tomorrow. The book reminds us that the quality of your questions determines the quality of your life. Most people ask powerless questions like, "Why do bad things always happen to me?" Or, "Why am I not talented enough?" Their minds immediately begin searching for answers that reinforce those beliefs. But imagine asking different questions instead. What opportunity is hidden inside this challenge? What can this experience teach me? Who do I need to become to achieve this goal? Suddenly, your mind begins searching for completely different answers. Your brain is like the world's most powerful search engine. Whatever question you type into it, it will spend every waking moment trying to answer. Ask better questions, and you'll receive better answers. Another powerful lesson in the mind that creates reality is that attention is one of the most valuable forms of energy you possess. Wherever your attention goes, your life follows. If your attention is constantly focused on problems, you'll become an expert at finding more problems. If your attention is focused on opportunities, learning, growth, and gratitude, you'll begin noticing possibilities that others completely overlook. The world hasn't changed. Your focus has. Most people allow social media, news headlines, endless distractions, and other people's opinions to control where their attention goes. They unknowingly hand over the steering wheel of their lives to external forces. But creators of reality understand something different. They protect their focus because they know that attention is the currency from which every future is built. As your awareness grows, you'll also begin noticing the stories you've been telling yourself for years. Perhaps you've convinced yourself that you're too old to start over, too young to succeed, too inexperienced to lead, or too ordinary to make a difference. But these are not facts. They are simply stories repeated so often that they've begun to feel true. The remarkable thing about stories is that they can be rewritten. The moment you replace a limiting story with an empowering one, your behavior begins changing almost automatically. You start taking chances you once avoided. You begin speaking with more confidence. You become willing to learn, fail, improve, and try again. Your life changes because your identity changes. The author shares a timeless truth. Every person lives twice. The first life is the one the world sees. Your career, your relationships, your achievements, and your possessions. The second life is invisible. It exists inside your thoughts, beliefs, dreams, fears, and imagination. The invisible life always creates the visible one. That's why lasting transformation never begins on the outside. It begins in the quiet moments when you choose hope instead of fear, courage instead of comfort, gratitude instead of complaint, and possibility instead of limitation. Those invisible choices eventually become visible results that everyone else calls luck. But there was never any luck involved. There was only a mind that refused to accept limits and chose to create a different reality, one thought at a time. One of the greatest discoveries you'll make on this journey is that your imagination is far more powerful than your memory. Unfortunately, most people spend their lives allowing their memories to control their imagination. They replay old failures, painful conversations, missed opportunities, and disappointing moments until the past becomes stronger than the future. Every day they wake up expecting tomorrow to look exactly like yesterday because their minds are trapped in experiences that no longer exist. The mind that creates reality teaches that if you want a different life, you must stop consulting your past every time you make a decision about your future. Your history may explain where you are today, but it does not have the authority to decide where you'll be tomorrow. That authority belongs to you. Imagine an artist standing in front of a blank canvas. The canvas doesn't argue. It doesn't remind the artist of yesterday's mistakes or predict tomorrow's failures. It simply waits for a new creation. Every morning, life gives you a blank canvas in the form of a new day. The question is whether you'll paint it with yesterday's fears or tomorrow's possibilities. Most people unknowingly paint with fear because fear feels familiar. They expect rejection before introducing themselves. They expect failure before starting a business. They expect disappointment before entering a relationship. Their expectations quietly influence their behavior until the outcome they feared becomes the outcome they create. They call it bad luck, but in reality, it began with a belief they never challenged. The book explains that confidence is not something you find, it is something you build. Many people are waiting to feel confident before they take action. But confidence has never worked that way. A child doesn't learn to walk because they already believe they can. They learn because they keep trying after every fall. Every step builds more confidence than 1,000 positive thoughts ever could. Action creates evidence, and evidence creates belief. That's why the smallest action is often more valuable than the biggest intention. Reading about change is useful, but living that change is transformational. Every courageous decision sends a powerful message to your subconscious mind. I am becoming someone who takes action. With every repetition, that identity grows stronger. As your thinking begins to change, you'll notice something remarkable. The same opportunities that once seemed invisible begin appearing everywhere. This isn't because the world suddenly became more generous. It's because your awareness expanded. Think about buying a particular model of car. Before making that decision, you rarely noticed it on the road. But once your attention focused on it, you suddenly saw it everywhere. The cars were always there. Your mind simply wasn't looking for them. Opportunity works the same way. The moment you begin expecting growth, possibility, and success, your brain starts recognizing pathways that had always existed but were hidden behind your previous beliefs. Another lesson woven throughout the mind that creates reality is that patience is one of the greatest forms of intelligence. We live in a world that celebrates instant results, overnight success, and quick rewards. But nature teaches a different lesson. A seed planted today does not become a mighty tree tomorrow. It grows quietly beneath the surface, long before anyone notices its progress. During that invisible period, it is developing roots strong enough to support future growth. Your life follows the same principle. There will be seasons when it feels as though nothing is happening. Your efforts may seem unnoticed, your progress invisible, and your dreams distant. But beneath the surface, your character is growing stronger, your wisdom is deepening, and your foundation is becoming unshakable. Never confuse invisible progress with failure. The author also reminds us that every challenge carries two gifts. The first is the lesson it teaches. The second is the strength it leaves behind. Without challenges, courage could never exist. Without uncertainty, faith would never develop. Without setbacks, resilience would remain undiscovered. Looking back at your own life, you'll probably realize that your greatest periods of growth followed your greatest periods of difficulty. The experiences you once wished had never happened often became the moments that shaped your character most deeply. Pain has a strange way of introducing us to strengths we never knew we possessed. As this journey continues, the meaning of success itself begins to change. Success is no longer measured only by achievements or possessions. It becomes measured by peace of mind, clarity of purpose, meaningful relationships, and the quiet confidence that comes from living in alignment with your values. The person who sleeps peacefully at night, wakes with gratitude each morning, and spends each day becoming a little wiser than yesterday has already discovered a kind of wealth that money alone can never provide. External success becomes far more enjoyable when it is built upon internal peace. The final message of this chapter is both simple and profound. Your mind is always creating reality, whether consciously or unconsciously. Every thought is shaping the person you are becoming. Every belief is influencing the choices you make. Every choice is building the future you'll eventually live. If you don't consciously direct your mind, old habits, old fears, and old conditioning will direct it for you. But the moment you awaken to this truth, everything changes. You become the author instead of the audience. You become the architect instead of the bystander. You stop waiting for life to improve and begin creating a life worth living. Because in the end, the greatest power you will ever discover is not the power to control the world around you. It is the power to master the world within you. And once you master that world, the reality outside it begins to transform in ways that once seemed impossible. As you move deeper into the mind that creates reality, you begin to understand that life is not a battle against the outside world. The greatest battle has always been within your own mind. Every day, two voices compete for your attention. One voice is driven by fear. It tells you to play it safe, to avoid risks, to settle for less, and to remain invisible. The other voice is driven by possibility. It reminds you that you were created for growth, that every challenge carries an opportunity, and that your potential is far greater than your current circumstances. The voice that becomes stronger is simply the one you choose to listen to every day. Your future is not decided by fate or luck. It is decided by the conversations you have with yourself when nobody else is around. The book explains that one of the greatest mistakes people make is searching for external motivation instead of developing internal purpose. Motivation is temporary. It rises and falls depending on your emotions, your environment, and your circumstances. Purpose is different. Purpose remains steady even when life becomes difficult. When your actions are connected to a purpose greater than comfort, quitting is no longer an option. You don't wake up every morning asking yourself whether you feel motivated. You wake up knowing why your work matters. That deeper reason gives you the strength to continue long after excitement disappears. Every meaningful achievement requires sacrifice. There is no path to excellence that doesn't demand something in return. If you want extraordinary health, you must sacrifice unhealthy habits. If you want financial freedom, you must sacrifice unnecessary spending and short-term pleasures. If you want wisdom, you must sacrifice hours of entertainment for hours of learning. Life is constantly asking one simple question: what are you willing to give up for the future you claim to desire? Most people want remarkable lives, but very few are willing to make remarkable choices consistently. Success isn't determined by what you want. It is determined by what you are willing to become. Another lesson woven throughout the mind that creates reality is the incredible power of consistency. People often underestimate small actions because they focus only on immediate results. Reading 10 pages today doesn't seem life-changing. Saving a little money this week doesn't feel significant. Practicing a skill for 30 minutes each day appears too small to matter. But life is governed by the principle of accumulation. Tiny improvements repeated over months and years create extraordinary transformations. A single drop of water seems powerless, yet millions of drops can carve through solid rock. Your daily habits work exactly the same way. Every positive action is another drop shaping the future version of yourself.